Welcome back to Joe Stunner Boxing. So Dillian Whyte wins a close one against Jermaine Franklin. Two of the judges had it 116, 112, which I thought was a bit wide. I had it 115, excuse me, 113 for Dillian, 115, 113. The other judge had it 115, 115. Now, I think I wouldn't have argued with that because I thought Franklin did very, very well. And you can make a case for him maybe edging it. He said in the post-fight interview, "Oh, I was robbed." You weren't robbed, mate. This was a tough fight. And if someone thinks that Franklin won it by a point or two, I wouldn't argue too vehemently, but I had it 115, 113 for Dillian. The one thing that we should start by saying is Jermaine Franklin can really fight. He looked 3 times better than he's ever looked in the past. And I admit I haven't seen a great deal of him in the past. I've seen a few of his fights, but no, this guy can really fight. Got very high ring IQ, doesn't do anything badly, defends himself well. Every punch in the arsenal, really. What he lacks is power and conditioning. His conditioning it should be better. He said, "Well, I only had a 7-week training camp." Dillian said, "I only had a 6-week training camp," but neither looked in great shape. Dillian always carries a bit of flab around the middle, but I think certainly if Jermaine Franklin gets himself in shape, it'll be a threat. I don't know whether he could make cruiserweight. He does look like a fat cruiserweight, to be honest with you. I don't mean that disrespectfully, because the guy, like I say, the guy can really fight. But I'll tell you one thing as well, he's got a heavyweight's chin. He can take a wallop, because there were a couple of occasions when Dillian landed some good punches on him, good individual, hard-hitting, full leverage punches, and Franklin didn't look like going anywhere. The only time he appeared to be hurt on first viewing was right at the dying embers of the final round, but if you watched it back, it was actually a forearm smash rather than a punch, and then actually Dillian followed it up when Franklin fell into the ropes with an overhand right, which did land flush, and it didn't hurt him, didn't hurt Franklin. So I was very, very impressed with Franklin. He came out showing a really good jab and firing lots of nice punches, edging his way forward. Dillian Whyte, as we know, has got, for a man of his size, I mean, he's not short, is he? Was he 6'4" or something? Or supposedly 6'4". He's got very long arms for a man of his height, very long reach. And this was weird because both fighters had the most success when they employed the jab, which sounds kind of contradictory, because you'd think, well, if one guy was better with the jab, how come the other guy did better with the jab as well? But they were at different points. So one guy would sort of go off the boil, the jabbing would go by the wayside, and the other guy would take over. And then, there weren't enough jabs from either guy. I mean, okay, I'm glad the fight wasn't a battle of the jabs, but at the same time, certainly to start with, I mean, Franklin looked really, really good, and a lot of it was off the jab. Dillian really started to rail the body early on, and he was, he would fight in these 20 or 30 second, maybe not 30 seconds, but certainly 20-second spurts where he was really looking flashy. I mean, lots and lots of, like I say, punches to the body. He was switching up to the head. The left hook was obviously the one that that's his pet punch. But he was also throwing uppercuts as well, which is slightly ironic because everyone was saying, well, Dillian's vulnerable to the uppercut. He's been knocked out 3 times with uppercuts. He was trying to employ the uppercut as well. Franklin was taking the lot. And even when Franklin was trapped on the ropes, as he occasionally was, certainly for the first 6-7 rounds, he was actually sidestepping and soaking it up on the ropes. Not many clean punches landing. And then he'd sidestep, and he'd actually come back and fire his own burst. And there were a lot of punches from both fighters being taken on the gloves, but at the same time, there was some serious leather landing as well. But again, the lack of power showed, and the lack of physical strength, I think, showed with Jermaine Franklin. I don't know, would he be interested in a Bridgerweight title? Probably not. No one is. But if he could lose some weight, just get himself in shape, Yeah. And yet, strangely enough, there was nothing wrong with his engine. He performed very well. In fact, of the two fighters, the one that was hurt the most was Dillian Whyte, because there was a huge, was it at the end of the ninth, the eighth maybe, where Jermaine Franklin landed a big right hand and it shook Dillian. He was shaken. He staggered back into the ropes, and then like that, it's like a switch was flipped. Straight away, Franklin goes for him when Dillian's on the ropes, and it was right at the end of the round, and he was landing some meaty punches. So I think, he's got a little bit of a killer instinct as well, Franklin. When the mood takes him, was he boxing too conservatively? I don't think so. I think he was doing his damnedest to against a naturally a much bigger man, a man who's physically stronger, longer reach. But he was making a real fight of this. And I repeat, if you thought Franklin won this fight by a point or two, I'm not going to argue with you. I thought Dillian won it. And I think he won it in the last two rounds, especially the last round where he came on pretty strong. And for the first time in that final round, Franklin looked a little bit, not forlorn, but a little bit war-torn, a little bit running low on fuel maybe. But after 10 rounds, I had it 5 each. And I gave Dillian the 11th by a whisker. And then in the final round, I thought Dillian clearly won that round. But this was a very absorbing, evenly matched battle. And like I say, two lots of 116, 112 I thought were too wide. 150, 115 I wouldn't argue with. But 2 points for Dillian, I had it. If I watched it again, it's the type of fight I might score it a draw. But did you see this fight? It was on DAZN. Some really nice action going on here. Dillian employed a lot of cross-arm defence, kind of like the old Archie Moore defence. Yeah, good fight. Very, very evenly matched. You were never sure until the final moments, or you were never sure until you heard the result who'd won it. I did think I would have been surprised if they'd given it to Franklin. I thought Dillian did edge it, but it's one of those, you put a gun to my head, who have I got? It's got to be Dillian. But, I'll tell you what, Jermaine Franklin made a believer out of me. He's a lot better than people realise, myself included. I thought my prediction for this fight is that Dillian would stop him late, maybe around the 10th, but didn't even come close. Not really. Yeah, it's on DAZN. Go and have a look at it if you haven't seen it yet. What did you think if you did see it? Leave your comments below. As always, I'm always fascinated to hear your comments. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. If you just hit that subscribe button, it helps the channel out a lot. And the like button if you like the video, hit the like button. And again, let me know your thoughts. Not a bad fight at all. Meanwhile, take care of yourselves. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and we'll speak again soon. Bye-bye for now.